first step when I do my makeup is I do my eyebrows first. Eyebrows first, because that way you can go back and you can fix them before you finish your full face. Because if you do your full face and then your eyebrows and you fuck them up, then they're done. Like, there's really no way to fix them. Alright, so I use the e.l.f. Ultra Precise brush. I have brow pencil. I don't know what shade this is in, or just I think it's brunette. I don't know. So my mirror is disgusting, but I'm gonna comb out your eyebrows first, so you make sure that you get your most natural shape. You want your most natural shape. You don't want to have too overly thick eyebrows if you don't have thick eyebrows. If they're not thick, don't make them thick. It's not going to work well. So just do your normal eyebrows.
And then the next image it wasn't there. And I just took and put it. And who was this? I don't really know who you just say his name. Okay. This man was so terrified by his encounters that he refuses to be identified. After hearing these
So I start out with drawing the bottom line of my eyebrow. So you have a basis of this is where your eyebrow is going to stop. This is where it's at. And again, that's why you do your eyebrows first, because you can go back in and you can fix them. And then you want to kind of go into the middle of your eyebrow right here, in the middle of the brow, and start drawing your second line.
Is what terrified a friend of Kirk's. This is the first time we're walking inside of it. It's empty. We're in the middle of nowhere, and we're going to go inside.
So these are like your coloring lines. These are your don't color outside the lines. This is where you want your eyebrows to stop. You don't want them to be too much more. You don't want them to be too much less, which is why I'm kind of going in and I'm fixing right here where it kind of looks funky. It's partially also the shape of my eyebrow. My eyebrow kind of wings out, kind of curves. So you've got the full bottom line, and then you're about halfway through. So you want to fill in your tail first. You want the tail of your eyebrow to be the darkest part, because you don't want the front part of your eyebrow to be dark, or not overly dark. You want it to be filled in, but you don't want it to be a block. You don't want to look like that bitch with Sharpies for eyebrows. Okay.
We want to know who's in this house. We want to know who you are. Can you show us that you're here? There is no audible response.
Alright, so you work your way from your tail in. So you work from the out to the in. So you have a nice gradient. So you're not going to look like this when you're done, because then you're going to look like a psychopath. A psychopath.
I need to ask you both, have you seen this photograph? I have seen photographs. This is an actual...
So when you start getting to the point where you're getting close to the inside part of your brow up here, so you're going to kind of start going at an angle. So you want it to be darker towards the bottom line, and you don't want there to be too much at the top, because that's how you get that nice effect of not having Sharpie brows, because those suck. Let's be honest.
Just a quiet session, and you hear who's in there. Blatant EVP. I mean, it's as clear as can be.
So kind of start at the bottom and draw lines towards the top. You don't want it to be too thick. You just kind of want to do a little bit. And comb out your brow. And I like combing out the brow after you do it, because that helps to blend the pencil in really well, so you can't really see too much of where you were drawing in your eyebrow. Now, Unless you shave your eyebrows off and draw them on every day, you are never going to have eyebrow twins. They're always going to be sisters, never twins. So don't sit there and freak out and be like, oh my god, they don't look the same. No, they're never going to look the same. So just suck it up and deal with it, because nothing that you can do is going to make them look. Alright, so I'm going to take Jeffree Star Concealer in the shade C1 because I'm a pale, pasty bitch. Alright, so I'm going to take this Morphe brush. I have no idea what kind of Morphe brush this is. I just know I got it in a little pack of 4 Morphe brushes for $12. So I'm going to take a little bit, just a little dot, that's all. And we're going to carve out this eyebrow.
Did you know the first ingredient in Clif Bar is brown rice syrup, which is just another name for sugar?
Alright, so this is going to be a very natural look. I'm not going to do any eyeshadow. It's just going to be a face. So I don't look like, I didn't put any effort in, but I also don't look like I put too much effort in. So we're going to look like a psychopath for a little bit because we're just going to leave that. I don't put any primer on my eyelids. I just use concealer. So we're going to kind of a boop and a boop. I'm going to take my beauty blender, make sure that it's damp. You need a damp beauty blender because even if you wet it and it's still too dry, it's not going to blend out like it's supposed to. It's not going to look good. So it has to be damp enough that it feels cold as you're using it. So you want it to have a nice flat base. A nice flat base. And this is going to be the same if you use eyeshadow. I always use concealer as my base. I never use any like eyeshadow, like any actual eyeshadow primer. In my experience, it's never really worked better for me. So I just like concealer. Concealer works a little bit better for me than an actual eyeshadow primer, and I don't know why that is. It's just how. Alright, so I'm taking Juvia's Place foundation, and I think it's shade Isla 730. I think that's how you pronounce it. Anyway, but I forgot to prime my face. So we're actually gonna go in with the No Problem priming water. So this one is like droplets. So because it like runs down my face, we're gonna do a drop on each side. And then prime the forehead. It's like dripping down my chin. So what I normally do is I normally use the e.l.f. Putty Primer. So what I think I'm going to do today is I'm going to try doing the priming water, the No Problem priming water, and let it soak in and be ready to go. And then I think I'm going to layer the e.l.f. Putty Primer, the Poreless Putty Primer, over it and see how it goes. Right, so I've got it on this part of my face. I'm gonna put it on the forehead. I do recommend making sure that you prime your forehead because that's gonna be the driest part of your face. Because no one ever really thinks about, and I'm talking about like the part of your forehead that's like by your hairline, because no one ever thinks about that. You don't think about your forehead in that way. Okay.
Everybody stop and freeze where you're at. Don't move, don't talk. I have the reenactors freeze in their places so I can...
Okay, so for anyone wondering, in the background while you're watching this video, I was also watching Ghost Adventures. I was watching TV while I was doing this, so that's what you're hearing in the background. Nothing else. It's just me watching TV. Alright, so you're gonna rub that in. And then we're going to go in with the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. And I use big old hunks of this.
which is just
So,
another name for almonds. Look inside this kind wrapper and you'll see
so we're gonna put a hunk right there. A hunk right there. That's a bigger hunk than on this side.
5 grams of sugar.
And then we're gonna put a hunk. We're gonna take a little bit of that hunk and bring it over here. Put a little bit on the chin. And a little bit on the nose. Alright, now we're gonna rub this in. This is kind of gonna help ensure that we don't have any pores. But you wanna make sure that your skin looks better. If you're not gonna do a full like beat face, because it's gonna bring more attention to your face when you, especially if you don't have on eyeshadow. So like your day is like, I'm going to work. So we're gonna put like 2 dots, and I literally mean like 2 dots like that on the Beauty Blender. And we're gonna kind of dot it around the face. Then we're gonna kind of oop, 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 boop, and a boop, and a boop, and a oop, and a boop, and a boop, boop, boop. And then you're gonna go in and you're gonna start blending.
We've now had the same exact deep male voice come through 4 different times. On cue, he told us his first name and now his last name.
So I have a really hard time doing my nose. My nose, it is a fucked up shape. I can't contour it because it is slightly crooked. Not crooked, it's uneven. Yeah, that's better. It's higher up on one side, like the bridge was, and then on the other side. So I can't contour it. So you really want to make sure that everything is a seamless blend. Like, you want it to be blended onto your neck, onto your ears, anything that's going to be showing. You want to make sure that it's covered.
I couldn't be everywhere at once. So it felt like I just didn't have enough. Dude, that was awesome.
I like the Juvia's Place foundation because it is very full coverage and it's pretty matte, and that's probably not the best for my skin because I have really dry skin, but it'll be okay. You do kind of want to make sure that you get foundation on your lips because it helps make sure that you have blended completely around your lips and not just got weird lines from where you were like, oh, I can't get my lips. I can't get my lips. Just go ahead and put foundation over it. That works better. And a really good thing is to make sure that your foundation matches you really good. Like, my foundation, I can tell, like, right now, I look like I'm really yellow. But when I'm done, I don't look that yellow. I look a lot more normal. Do go back over this just to make sure that everything's kind of even. You don't want to, again, with the whole, you don't want to look like a psychopath. Alright, now we're going to go back in with the Jeffree Star Concealer. And there we go. One sharp line. Oh, and oh. And then we're going to go into the forehead.
Introducing the Capital One Walmart Rewards card.
Well, you said you wanted a new chair.
Earn unlimited 5% back on everything you buy at Walmart online.
So you definitely, when you get to your concealer, you want to use like the angled part of your Beauty Blender.
When you want that, you need the Capital One Walmart Rewards card. Earn unlimited 5% back.
So you can get up in there You want to get up in there. You want to get it all up in there because you're not wearing eyeshadow. Remember? No eyeshadow. So you don't have any room to be like, oh, I don't need concealer right there. No, you need concealer. Concealer is needed. All right, but we're going to take the damp beauty blender and we're going to go into our setting powder. I was kind of talking. I use the Laura Mercier setting powder in translucent. It's more warm toned than I think any YouTube like beauty guru talks about. It is a lot more warm toned than they say it is. It's got kind of a warm undertone to it, but I don't mind it. It still works good. I'm actually really love it. And it's mainly because, again, like when I broke my nose, I have a bunch of extra skin on my face from where my bridge is no longer raised up like it was. So my under eyes actually crease really badly. And so it was always just like my expectation, like, okay, so is this going to crease badly or is it just going to crease a little bit? And that's just how I looked at it. I never held a grudge against any setting powder. I never held a grudge against the setting powder for creasing a little bit because I crease. I have a lot of skin in it. It's going to crease. But this doesn't crease, so now I have standards. And this is gonna help because you don't have eyeshadow on, so your eyebrows are gonna be kind of harsh. So when you set your eyelids with your setting powder, when you're setting the rest of your face. So, but don't set this part of your face and don't set like too far up here because that's how you get your bronzer to stick. All right, so I'm going to take the shade, I'm going to take Hoola Bronzer by Benefit in the shade Hoola. I wonder, this is just kind of the stereotype. I'm pretty sure I need to use the Hoola Light, but I don't, so I really think I need to. So you want to bounce off the excess. I use the Flawless Face Brush by e.l.f. I really like it. So you kind of want to smile when you do it.
They were probably begging for it, just for a shot or something to clean wounds, any kind of alcohol. Am I right? Yeah.
So you have a good angle for where, like, it needs to be. So you're not really contouring so much as you're just putting color on your face. Because, again, you're not doing a full beat face, you're just kind of doing a face. So you don't want to be too in your face. You want to be very neutral. Now on my left side of my face, I do make a completely different face, and that's because of the difference in the skin of my face. There's more skin on the left side of my face than there is on the right side of my face. Alright, so you bronzed up, so it'll go a little too low, but that's why you don't set the whole face yet, is because that's how you fix it. Now, you want to bronze your forehead, especially if you're me and you have a ginormous ass forehead and you're more like a five head, maybe even a 6 head. Because this helps make it seem not so big and not just a big old plane of pasty paleness. Because you don't want to be gross. You don't want to be gross. I forgot. I need to be a little bit closer. Okay, here we go. So, you want to be bronzed up on your forehead too. So make sure, like, if you're me and you have this weird hairline that it kind of goes back. Bronze up in there too, because then you look funny if you don't. So bronze up in there too. Okay? Alright, so we're done with the bronzer for now. At least I think. So we're going to take a little bit more setting powder. Take your beauty blender. You want to get a good chunk of setting powder. You want a lot. And you're going to kind of clean up your bronzer. It's going to kind of help you cut it out. It's going to help like carve your cheekbones without you being overly contoured. Now for like a full beat face, I can show you how to like completely contour your face. So
Somebody up there? There's somebody down here. Billy, come in, Billy. Pat Boone again for Relief Factor. I read that pain is the number one.
alright, there we go. Not set the space in between my eyebrows on my nose. Oh, making a mess. But see, I'm kind of tiny, so boop, 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 boop. Wee! Alright. So now we're going to go in with some blush. So you're going to take, so I like using a nice stippled brush because it kind of helps blend it and not make it too harsh on your face. You don't want to look like someone just slapped the fuck out of you. You don't. So I use, this is the Farrah stippling brush. It's the 40 FM. And then I'm using my little test thing for my Ipsy. It's Ciate London in shade Matchmaker. I like it. This is what it looks like in the pan. It's kind of odd, but it works good. So dab it, kind of knock off your your excess, and you want to smile. And then you want to do the apples of your cheeks and work your way back. But you want to go up at an angle because you're still trying to keep that. You still want your cheekbone to be the high point of your face again. So the high points of your face are the points that you highlight. You highlight them for a reason because they're your high points. So you want that part of your face to draw the attention. That's why there's highlighter. So kind of, again, cheekbones. And when you're not wearing eyeshadow, well, this is what I like to do. So take a little bit of blush and you're going to go in on your nose. And it adds a little bit of color to your nose without overwhelming you. Alright, now I normally use Jeffree Star highlighters. So for a more of a subtle face, we're going to go in with, it's another little tester thing for my Ipsy. Catherine Natural Cosmetics. By the way, this is not sponsored by Ipsy in any way, shape, form, or fashion. That's just how I come across a lot of my nose itches so bad. Makeup things. This weird looking brush that I got. It's my little testers. I think this is a Real Techniques brush. It's called Rebel Edge Medium. Yeah, this is Real Techniques 403. I don't know what I'm doing with it. Not really. I use it for a highlighter. I'm not sure if it's what it's supposed to be used for. Now, I do want it to have a little bit of extra pop. That's just me, personally. If you don't want to, you don't got to. So I'm kind of using the point that didn't get too wet to kind of blend me out so I don't look like a psycho.
hour, they don't even receive a single voice through the spirit box. Remember, just an hour ago when we reenacted the energy of the field hospital with 15 reenactors, we had one of our most successful communication sessions ever with Daniel, who we believe was a Confederate soldier named Daniel McElwain. Aaron and Nick cannot get Daniel to come through, so I wonder, because I was holding the spirit box earlier and acting as a conduit, did Daniel attach to me and follow me to the H.P. Bottoms house?
Alright, so blending, I'm blending, so I don't look like I'm crazy. Alright, so highlight your nose. You want your nose, again, to be a focal point of your face. So kind of highlight above your brows. So highlight the Cupid's bow just a little bit. Again, this little face. Highlight the chin just a little bit. Again, just want to get that face kind of going. So I'm going to take this Morphe Fluffy Blender brush. We're going to go into blood sugar. Let's get it open. We're going to kind of take a sugar cane and
but it is at this exact time that something really startles me from inside the house.
so it's not too much. It's going to be just enough to hide where I kind of screwed up with setting it.
Vibrations from it in bed. The digital recorder downstairs captures this bang even louder, and after reviewing the X-camera
Also, a good idea that I didn't think about when I was doing this is when you do the apples of your cheeks, it's good to use a really nice rounded brush because you want to look a little bit more rounded when you have a chubby face. Like if you have a really round face like I do, you don't want to try to make yourself look too angular because that's how you look crazy. You don't, like, it's again like makeup started out as just like highlighting the natural assets that you already had. So you really want to make sure that you're not trying to force your face to be something that it's not. If you really, like, even when I contour, I still give myself a really rounded face because I don't want to look like I'm crazy. Alright, so now we're going to highlight the inner corner and the brow bone. So I take, not this brush. I don't know where it was. I can't keep track of anything. Found it. But again, I can't keep track of anything to save my life. So we're going to go in with the highlight that we used. So this is a e.l.f. small precision brush. Now, e.l.f. brushes, they're not the best in the world, but for their price point, they're cheap brushes. So you can't expect your cheap brush to be the best in the world.
Something in this house knocked a piece of our equipment off a table. I hear the sound. And now I'm seeing the evidence. The Ovilus is off the table. And what doesn't make sense to me?
At this point, I kind of just got tired of editing, so I just put in this voiceover to tell you that I'm sorry if I seem crazy towards the end of it. But, yep, there you go.
That is our Ovilus device. It's our Ovilus X. What the?
Alright, so you want to highlight the brow bones.
That is our Ovilus device. It's our Ovilus X.
And then again with the whole, if you do your eyebrows first and something fucks up, you can come back later and fix them. So now you want to get to your mascara. You want to do your mascara next, and now we're gonna all make that ugly mascara face. Yay! Ugly mascara face. Time to go.
I'm pretty anal about things. Everything was laid out nicely, ready for you to grab. Yeah, it was together. Totally.
Okay, well, I just captured the Ovilus X splitting in half and the other half landing on the barrel.
That's crazy.
When we look back at the footage of when Billy and I were getting ready to investigate, this shot shows the Ovilus device velcroed together and sitting on the table. Something had to physically tear them apart, then throw the other half off the table. With Billy on the battlefield, a park ranger camped out in front watching the perimeter, and with me locking myself inside, this is completely unexplainable.
You alright? Yeah, I tell you what's going on.
As we wrap up our investigation at the HP Bottoms house, Billy can see the
So when you're doing your bottom lashes, you want to make sure that you go up underneath them too, because that helps to spread them out and give you more volume and make sure that they're not just these weird little spider looking lashes.
moments in the history of our careers.
Daniel, Queen. Where's your next pointy? Okay, right there. Okay, gosh. Yeah, Daniel. This is the 15th Kentucky. Killer in action. Died October 8th, 1862.
The male spirit that we communicated with during our earlier experiment with 15 Civil War reenactors as eyewitnesses gave us his first and last name, which now a park ranger and Perryville battle historian has matched perfectly to a soldier who was killed in action just yards from where we are now standing. With this unbelievable discovery, we asked Kurt to immediately follow us back to the dye house so that he can listen to the spirit's voice. You got to remember that all the reenactors, they also witnessed this.
And after you're done with that,
And that's the one we just did for
where you did this, you can go ahead and wipe that off. And the excess will kind of help set your face, kind of blend everything together with a big powder brush. And you're done. You can set your face if you want to. I'm doing this late at night, so I'm not going to set my face with any setting spray, but there you go. It's the finished product. Alright, thank you very much, and bye.